Hello and welcome to Witches of Moon. My name is Jen and I'm your Tuesday hostess. We are on season 9 and this is week 2, and the topic for this week is all about deity. For some people, they choose their god or goddess. Some choose to work with only a goddess, some choose to only work with a god, some choose to work with both, and some choose to work with many. And then there are some people who feel that the god or goddess chooses you. I am one who can say that the goddess chose me. I work with the goddess Morgan. She's my mother, I am her daughter, and that's that. There are times, however, that a god or goddess will appear and I will work with them for a short period of time for whatever it is that I happen to be doing. Whether it be a channeled message or whatever for someone, and that's pretty much it. There are many ways in order to figure out who your god or goddess is. Um, One of the ways that I would suggest is by doing some research, figuring out what pantheon you're drawn to and look at those gods or goddesses and see which ones really stand out to you. Once you've done that, do some research on them. See what they're all about. How do you feel about them? Do you still feel drawn to them? What's there? Once you've narrowed that down even more, then do some meditation work and see which god or goddess comes to you. If there's more than one, then how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that? Um, and if you are, then go about working with them, writing in your journal, setting up an altar for them, whatever you need to do. For me, working with the goddess Morgan, it isn't something that just happened overnight. I feel as though she has been with me for my entire life. And looking back, as I'm sure many people do, you begin to see the different patterns and start to connect the dots. I did have dreams about the Morgan more than once. I did see, there were things popping up everywhere on Facebook, on YouTube, on Pinterest. There would be pictures of the Morgan, and there'd be pictures of crows and other symbols. Um, I have crows that, although I live in town, there are crows that appear out of nowhere at times, but I'm constantly, always, no matter where I go, there is always a crow or two or more around. It's kind of weird. When we were in Tennessee, I had crows that would wake me up every single morning at a specific time. They would start in one area and then fly up in the trees, and they would make all kinds of noises and everything else until they got my attention. Once I would come outside of the cabin, then they would be fine and they would fly off for the day. And this was also happening when Tennessee had a bunch of forest fires, so it was almost like, the crows were warning me to let me know that this was going on. I've had a crow, literally, it seemed to follow me around the house. I came outside to the front porch, which is where I am now, and I saw a crow in the tree that's across the street from me. And I went back inside, I went upstairs, and I could still hear this crow. I looked out my window, and it was on this side. If you can see me pointing, it was over there on that side of the road, and it was in a tree right across from my upstairs room. So that seems to happen a lot. And, there are other signs and symbols that I've always had and things that I was drawn to, and I didn't understand why. Always interested in Scotland and Ireland and England. Those areas. And I always knew that I had Irish and Scottish, Irish, Scottish heritage. But I recently found out that I also have a ton of DNA from England. My great grandfather and many, many, many other greats, grandmothers, and grandfathers, and what have you, came from England. And so I'm pretty excited about that. And even more, um, it all leads to the Morgan. So for me, working with the Morgan is amazing. And when I first learned about the Morgan, when I first started hearing about her, and like I said, it was a gradual process. Like, there was nothing about the Morgan, and then every time I turned around, there was something about the Morgan. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to know. It wasn't like I was afraid of who she was, or afraid of what everybody was saying, that, oh, she's evil, she's this, she's that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. That doesn't scare me at all. And so, once definitely figuring out that it was her, I never looked back. And I love my relationship with her. So there are times that I'm like, really, do we have to do something right now? And the answer is always going to be, yes, hello. But other than those moments, it's all good. So, yeah, like I said, there's many ways to go about working with deity, your god or your goddess, or if you choose to work with more than one, it's entirely up to you. But that's kind of how I connected with the Morgan. Um, Dreams and symbols, and just is very unique to me. And I think it's unique for everybody. I think well, I know everybody's journey is different. Nobody's journey is the same. And every time you connect with a god or a goddess, your connection is going to be unique to you. It's not going to be the same as everybody else's. What I experience with the goddess Morgan, someone else will have a complete different reaction to. She may connect with them or contact them in a different way than what she did with me. And, I'm okay with that. And, some people will work with her in the triple aspect. They will break it down and they will work with each part of the Morgan. Some people will work with the Morgan as a whole. And again, that's going to be unique to them. The same way with other gods and goddesses. It's going to be unique to them. But, they may have, some goddesses are a triple aspect. Some gods are a triple aspect, I guess. And, some people will choose to work with them separately. Some people will choose to work with them as a whole. Some people will create an altar for each god or goddess, and some will create an altar that has all of them on them. And if that works for them, that's great. For me, I have an altar for the Morgan. She demands that she has her own altar, and she gets her own altar. She gets what she wants when she wants, pretty much. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about the topic. So I'm sure there will be other amazing, awesome videos, and I'm sure you will hear about other gods and goddesses that others work with and how they connected to them. So it will be rather interesting. So until next week, I will see you later.